Okay, party people in the place to be. Y'all know what's up. Hey y'all, what's going on? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my channel. I'm Real King, and this is it, y'all. Aight? So, y'all, let me tell you. Good video for today, by the way. So today was a good day. I got out, got some things that I needed to do done. First step I had to do is I had to go somewhere, had to take my computer in to get serviced. So got that done, out the way. And then what else did I do? I headed back the other way, towards the park that I normally go to. And I kind of I think I had a conversation with my auntie, and then we talked for a while. I was applying for jobs and all that kind of jazz, and everything was going pretty good with that. You know, I kind of was chilling. You know what I'm saying? Like pretty much the majority of the day. But what I want to tell you about a continuance of yesterday's video about the stolen bike. So I meant what I said. I got off and I looked up. I spent a few hours up until I went to sleep, basically. And I was online between YouTube and eBay and Amazon. And I'm just looking up all kind of safety stuff. So I found I got great news. Not good news, but great news when it comes to my new bike. And I was going to do this for that bike anyways because of the value of it. Not so much so for the little Walmart piece. It was $148, not a big deal. Okay. But the bike I got. So I looked on Amazon and I never knew that they had these. So they got bike alarms. And I went on Amazon and there was one. And this is how I shop. I shop with a peace of mind. I read reviews, I look at the ratings and how many people, kind of like my TCL. Everybody knows about TCL. That has been a hot selling TV, and we're talking 30-something thousand people buy these TVs. They're cheap and they're good. So that's how I bought that TV. So I started learning based off of that. And so everything that I get, I look at the number rating, 4 or 5 stars. I don't usually get anything that's like low. I mean, it depends. And then I look at how many people have bought these. So the good thing with Amazon is they give you the best results first. The ones with the highest selling, the best selling one and stuff like that. So I look at the stars and the amount of people that buy these things. So when it came to the bike alarm, there was a bunch of different ones. They were pretty much priced in the same area. Some, looked a lot different. So I looked at this one, and this one had 17,000 people have bought it. Also on Amazon, underneath that, it'll show how many people bought this in the past month. Crazy amount. So I needed to look at the reviews, and I always look at the most recent reviews, not the highest or the lowest. I look at the most recent reviews. So these reviews that I was looking at were from this year and beyond, or before. So I'm looking at, and they had a lot of videos. But every video that I watched, not one single one, and I watched like 10 of them. They all said very important things, that it's very loud. And one guy demonstrated it, and he said this is only on 3. It goes up to 7. I was like, dang. Different sensitivity modes, all of that, and they demonstrated it. I'm just like, okay. So I got one of those, and that's like only $18. That's and there really isn't any major different ones. They're about the same. But this has a little key fob thing, and there's a couple other things I can't remember, but it was really good. But it's got best value. So for $18, perfect. Amazon. The next thing I needed to do was I needed to look up locks. So I'm fine. I'm looking on Amazon about the best. No, I don't know if I looked on Amazon, or no, I did look on Amazon, but I don't know if I actually checked on YouTube. But I looked on Amazon, and I typed in bike locks, and then I looked at some of the ones that I like. The one I had, which is kind of like a wiry one or whatever, even though it's Brinks, but whatever. So there were some that kept coming up as the number one pick was these locks, like chain locks with the combination thing. I'm like, huh? I'm like, why would this be more durable than these U-bar style, type? Like, that didn't make sense to me, but they were. People were really buying those over, so I had to find out. And after doing research, I did find out that those chain link ones, between 3 feet and I think 6 feet they come, they're very heavy, and they come with the steel that they're made out of is actually, it's tested against, they say scratches or cuts or whatever, or, man, it was something else. But basically, they are basically anti-theft resistant. So the steel is actually more harder or tougher steel, and so they were highly recommended. And there was two of them, two different kinds that are more expensive because they come with a like a nylon coating, so it protects your bike from getting scratched and all that. But and it's got this like really cool code system, combination code system, and everything like that. But so that is one that I am interested in getting. But the other one, there's two particular ones, and they're expensive. The smaller of the two is over $100, but it is called the, oh man, forget about it. It's literally called that. Forget about it. New York something. It's got like the Statue of Liberty on it, but it's some crazy company. But the rating on this lock, y'all, is what sold me. And I'm like, again, I paid a lot for this bike, so that's pretty penny. I'm gonna secure the mess out of this bike. So the lock, like I said, is a little over $100, cheaper on the discount or on eBay, but it has like this crazy double lock system or whatever like that. So it's got these keys that you register, and basically, yeah. So if you lose them, it comes with 3 keys. If you lose a key, they'll replace it. But if you lose it a second time, it's money. So it's kind of cool in that aspect, kind of like a vehicle. But this one has a locking system, and the thing is heavy. And basically what they're saying is you wouldn't be able to comfortably, and if you know how to use, like, was it bolt cutters? Not bolt, is it bolt cutters? What are those kind of cutters called? But anyways, those kind of cutters, man, I'm drawing a blank. But anyways, they're not easy. It's not easy. And if the steel is harder than which is very possible, then you risk the chance of bending that. So if you know what you're doing and what you're buying, then that's a big deal, And so people that have been in construction field of work, they know what I'm talking about, or they know what that is. And so when you have a lock where you really can't get a good, because how those cutters work, you gotta like open it up, and it opens up the mouth, and so it's got to have a wide enough area for it to open up for it to get around something. And these are some really thick bars, and so that's why it's important that they say that it's not wide enough for something to get in there, which means your angle to try to cut something like that thick is not going to be very good, and so you're not going to really get it, because even if you try to do the outside, that's not the best way that you want, because you're going to want that secure. Anyways, I'm not going to go all up in there, but that is a good lock to get, and it's a small one. And so what I'm going to do is I would obviously have one around the object. And they say to smart lock your bike, you got to bike. I forgot how they say it, but basically you lock the bike with those kind of locks, or any kind of lock really, around the object that you're wrapping your bike around, or two, around the frame and the wheel. That's how you do it. And so what I would be doing is I would be locking mine at both ends, as well as having the alarm. Because the alarm, how it works is it will, if you get too close to it, based off your sensitivity, I believe, settings, but like if you touch it, it sounds off a warning, a little beep. But then if you do it again, then it sounds off this a huge alarm. So it's really cool that way. So that way, if somebody is trying to jack my bike in any way, it's going, the alarm is going to be sound off, because of the fact that, one, they won't know it, it's on there, and then two, or they won't be expecting it, and then two, you know what I'm saying, they'll freak out, and obviously attention's going to be drawn to that noise. They're not going to be able to concentrate and get the job done, and they dip. So that's the cool thing about having those kind of locks. Now there's one more lock. I was satisfied with that one. I think it's called Kryptonite as a company, but I was satisfied with that. So I'm looking at a video that was one of the videos for the product, but it had another video in it. So it had these side by side ones, the Kryptonite, and this other one that had like a square bar around it instead of the little round ones. And this was all black. It was a little bit bigger, I think. But it had this different, it looked heavy duty, bruh. It was crazy, and it was much more expensive. So that gave me an idea. Now the guy was like, this one, I clicked on it. Oh no, I watched a different video. I was watching a different video. So basically the lock I was telling you guys about that was like a little over 100. They're getting clowned by this one company. So the guy did a comparison, and I'm reading some reviews, and everybody's like, well, Kryptonite, they claim this and that, but they don't show you a durability test. And I was like, oh, like that? And apparently there's another lock. It is expensive. And I'm going to get it regardless. And I have it on a lower price on eBay, and it's still very expensive. It's, even with the discount on eBay, it's like over $200, almost $300. But this is a level 10 out of 10. Meaning you can put this in the hood and you'll still be good. It's a 10 out of 10. Meaning that you ain't getting that. You might as well be tearing the stuff up, because you're not getting it all in one hole. You're not getting it from that lock. So I'm like, okay. So I got both of them on standby, and of course, the more expensive one is gonna have to wait, and that's fine. So what I plan on doing is I plan to get the first off, money purposes, I will get the lock, and the chain lock, and then I'll get the alarm. That'll be me. That will do me good for a little while. Now, what I'm going to do as far as where I take my bike, I'm gonna still take my bike where I want to take my bike, but the difference is going to be, instead of me keeping my bike, now that this has happened, instead of keeping my bike away from, because where I had it at, it's like at the end or the beginning, depending on where you're coming from, of the Walmart building. Okay, so it's at the end by the parking lot. It's like right by the parking lot. The building ends in the parking lot, but it's where it's where the gardening section is and stuff like that, all that area, and like the auto area. It's at that part of the Walmart. So that's where I had my bike. So it was at the end. Now it would have been better if I had it towards the front, where like if there was a bike rack at the front where the pharmacy area is, because that's heavily that's a busy area right there. Behind Walmart is not that busy. It just isn't, you know. And so yeah, so next time what I'll do is I'll make sure that I park my bike in a heavily, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Not secluded, but a heavily trafficked area where, you know, plenty of people are around. There's the workers, and I know that the workers are always out there. So there's the workers, there's the security people that are out there. They didn't do a good job yesterday though, but I ain't gonna go there. And so, and of course, all the customers. So I will find a spot if I need to go there, and I will make sure that I put it right in the middle or right where there's going to be people. So that way, if you're too close to my to my bike, my alarm will go off, and it'll vibrate, I'm sure, in my pocket, and I'll come bolting out. And you better hope I don't have my knives out because you're gonna be filleted. But you know, so yeah, so with the alarm and the two locks or the one lock on my bike, that's gonna be good for now. And then maybe the week after, no, maybe in a couple of weeks I will get the that U-bar style lock. So I just wanted to let y'all know about that because that was a big deal, and I literally spent hours yesterday trying to find the best one, viewers, ratings, all of that, and I came up with a few of them, so I'm good on that. And so I was thinking though, for those alarms, being that they're so small and the way that they, you know, I probably want to get two because I know they sell them in packs of two for like $36. So I was thinking about possibly doing that just as a backup, you know what I'm saying? Because the way that those alarms are on there, and I was kind of wondering, but I guess it makes sense because, you know, they're bikes. So they have the double-sided adhesive that is attached to the actual device. You peel off that, and then they come with two black zip ties, and so you thread the zip tie through the device, peel off the tabs. You go ahead and stick the device and give it a good, you know, firm press on the bike, and then you use the zip ties and you tighten it real good and tight, and then you use some clippers and you clip off the excess pieces to make it flush, and it's like that. So I would put being that the bike is going to be green, it's going to stand out. What I will find an area to where it's not so obvious if possible, and then that'll be that. So yeah, and then on top of that, I found two insurance companies, bicycle insurance companies, and out of the two that were highly recommended, one of them was the cheapest, and we're talking about kind of bare bones, I guess you can say, and it's like $19 for. I gotta call them probably after I get off my video because the promo said like $9 a month. It's $120 a year, $127 a year. You can either pay that all up front, or they're saying for the promotion it's $9 and like 80 something cents a month. But then when it gives you the breakdown of whatever is included, and that's just really based off of what the answers that you answer and stuff like that. I didn't need any extra like liability or nothing like that because I wasn't getting it for, you know, crashing. I was getting it for theft, you know, primarily. So I just kept everything theft related. And so with that, it's telling me as far as two payment options, it's showing 19 something. It's called the Pick 12, and it's like you pay $19 and some change for your first initial payment. Then the rest of your payments are like I forgot what it said, and then like your last payment is a different amount, and that's for 12 months. And so I'm just like, that's kind of weird. So then why are you saying this $9 a month thing? So I'm gonna call them and I'm gonna verify that. The other one, it didn't really give me a good breakdown. It asked me a couple of questions, general questions, and it was like, Well, here's the price. And it's like this includes theft protection. That's it. Like, but what else? Like, there's not a breakdown of what this is entails. Like, so I did, and that was like I said, $26. I'm like, I don't really care for that one. So that's what happened with that. And then I'm hoping. I haven't even gotten information on my bike yet, y'all. Tomorrow's gonna be Wednesday, and which means the dang thing should have actually been here by Thursday. Because they're gonna say 5 business days, but they said between 2 to 5. So there, if that means Friday, that's like pushing it all the way to like that's kind of messed up. I really wouldn't have been expecting. I wasn't expecting that, but I still haven't got my tracking number. I just got confirmation like late this afternoon talking about my order's been processed. I'm like, what do you mean it's been processed? Like it was processed like Monday. Wait, today's Tuesday. Yeah. Like they were telling me that like Monday. Like, what? So anyways, I'm waiting for my tracking number on that. So, hopefully it will come sooner than later. But anyways, and then I got some really exciting news late this afternoon, right around the same time as that my bike update. But I'm not going to tell you guys about that until tomorrow because this is a huge one, and I'm kind of waiting on some information before I can go there. So, but it's huge. It's huge. But I do have something going on for tomorrow. I got my my late appointment, so we'll be doing that, and then after that, we'll see what's up, But anyways, guys, had a great day. Got a lot of good news, and I was just in good spirits, in a good mood. And before I go, and I really wanted to do this at the beginning, and it slipped my mind, but I definitely want to take this opportunity to give thanks to my Father, the Most High, Yah, because He is the one that makes this possible for me. He keeps me. I do my praying and I study my scriptures each night, and throughout the day and stuff like that. And I'm just like I'm trying to make sure I get myself back on track. Because no type of good or success or whatever you want to consider it comes from me without Him. And so my relationship with Him and my spirituality is very important. And so by me understanding that with Him all things are possible, and without Him nothing is possible. It's like that's just confirmation for me to like that don't give up, don't worry about anything, but trust in Him and do what you need to do to be able to receive your blessings. Because if you ask Him for something, He will provide that for you, and also understanding you have to have patience. So it's a whole bunch that goes into that. It's praying, it's trusting and believing, and it's having patience. Because one thing that I do know, and a lot don't, is when you pray for something, it's in His time when you are to receive that. It's not when I want to. I can't pray and expect something, by a certain date. That's not how He works. And I know that. So it's patience, because there's a right time for everything. And so I rest easy, and I go about my day very calmly and content, knowing that whatever I prayed for is going to happen. Depending on, it's just depending on when. Now, see, I could possibly help that by doing the things that I need to do, staying in line with Him. So I know that, and I'm just glad that, the things that I'm doing, being a good student, and, just, being a man of my word, not just being a talker, but being, a doer, when He gives me this opportunity to see another day, it's because, he has something for me. He's the one that, allowed me to wake up. He breathed into me, you know what I'm saying, to wake me up, not an alarm clock or anything like that. And so that's a blessing when you're able to wake up, because we're not guaranteed. Once we sleep, we are in a state of unconsciousness and we don't know what's going on, so we take for granted when we wake up that that's just supposed to happen, but that's not how that happens at all. He breathed life into man at the beginning of all of this, and so he still does that, and so I always want to make sure that I, give him the credit where because he deserves it. And I haven't been doing it enough, but just how things have been, happening with my YouTube channel, and just in life in general, me learning from things, it's all him. So with that being said, y'all, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure that you smash that like button, hit the notification bell, y'all, so that way you can get notified when I'm dropping these videos. And if you're new to my channel, I drop these videos every day, and they're going to be getting more exciting. So if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. And if you guys have any comments or questions or anything that you want to, ask me about or tell me or, whatever, drop a comment, and I would love to hear from you guys. Until then, guys, y'all have a good rest of the evening. I'm Real King, and this is it, y'all. All right? Cool.